Scourge of Ghyran. Ardor. Chopia. Pig ear. DMCA lifted? No, you're thinking of Check the Tapes. Check the Tapes has DMCA. News thing doesn't. Or maybe it does. SG will have to tell me. Maybe they got both and I gotta find new ones again. Right, listen up. No mucking about. I will not do the voice the whole time. This post is all about Ironjawz and how good at smashing stuff they are. No magic or fancy talk. Wait. Tactics? Is that like a TikTok? They just want to hit stuff harder. Warchanta Lewis has this to say about what's going on. You know, actually, this is almost completely true. They do just want to hit stuff harder. However, being incredibly slow is not pleasing. So, let's listen.
Perhaps returning here was folly, murmured Yvain. The admission sat bitter on his tongue as he watched his brethren hallowed knights comb the ruins of one of Fort Gardas's frontier outposts. I thought it might offer closure. We can but pray it was for a purpose, Vaticus said. The swordswoman leant on her great blade, eyes narrowed and alert. These woods crawl with gargants and aurochs. The ground began shaking. Wood cracked, and with it came crass snorting. As the stormcast raced to form up, hog riders burst from the trees. They trampled Vatica and Therese. Sparking blood streamed off the grunters' tusks as the beasts shook their huge, snorting heads and bellowed. More aurochs followed the riders, masked, wild brutes. Muscles heaved as they swung massive flails or lifted chunks of masonry. Yvain hacked through the thick neck of one of the aurochs with teeth-gritted strikes. He turned to shout a command, just in time to register a statue's head hurtling towards him. The improvised missile shattered his skull and sent his soul heavensward. The last thing Yvain saw in that life was the face of the auroch who hurled it, twisted in animal rage.
Well, I guess it was all in a vein. Anyway. The Ironjawz has received 2 suitably aggressive battle formations. Bruit Fist effectively doubles the number of units that can benefit from the Mighty Destroyer's battle trait. Pretty handy for getting the boys into the action a bit faster. Let's go. Can't say that on Twitch or I'll get banned. Revolves around duffing up big enemies. Basically, if it's bigger than the boys, they hit it harder. Both formations are typical Route 1 violence, just as you would expect from the Ironjawz. More bashing, more often. Hey, alright. As for your monster's big uns, or big UN, turns your beast into an organic can opener, making them better at chewing through armor to get at the tasty treats inside. Mad UN turns them into a frothing beast. Just keep stomping on stuff until it's turned into a paste. Fast UN can only be used once, but enables your monster to make a normal move in your hero phase. Played at the right time, this could lead to an early change. Early charge or a last-minute dash for a crucial objective. To round out the updates, 2 units have a Gyranic Rebirth, Gorgruntas, and Weird Brute Rekkas. Good and good. Gorgruntas could previously get bogged down by large units of tenacious infantry. Well, I mean, Gorgruntas were previously like a anvil pinned kind of unit, but now they can just barge their way right through the little guys. Both the riders and their mounts inflict extra damage on the charge too, making them perfect beast killers, especially if you choose the thing I can't say or I'll get banned on Twitch. The Rekkas have turned proper wonky in Ghyran. Some say it's due to all the super massive shrooms growing everywhere. Others think that because everything is so green, they feel surrounded by Gork, possibly Mork. Whatever the case, their presence inspires nearby Ironjawz to get in on the madness. Got to read these monster traits in a French accent. Sure. Hey, I remember these 3. These are one of the, you know, one of the greatest hits, right? Biggin, Madden, Fasten. We got Gorgruntas, 3 for 2 hundo, and Scourge Ghyran Weird Bruette, 3 for 110. But before we get to that, let's check out the General's Handbook fact number 5. If you're playing a 2,000 point game, you've created your army roster, but you still got 80 points or equivalent in Grot Teeth to spare. What to do? Hopefully, I don't like where this is going. In the new battle pack, certain faction terrain features, enhancements, lores, and battle formations can have a point cost to include them. All right, this is the first terrible news we have received from the GHB so far. Everything up until now was really stellar. I am terrified by this sentence. Foreboding. Perfect for rounding out that army roster, unless you had just 2,000, and one of them that used to be free was good, and now your list completely breaks and you have to drop something to spend points to take the thing again. The vast majority of these options still cost 0 points to start, but the good ones that you use won't, because they're good. So all the playable ones will cost 20 or 30 and ruin half of your lists. Isn't that fun? Latest points values are available on the app, and points updates are available in the Battle Profiles download. That sucks. Imagine your sub-faction costing points. Disgusting. Imagine paying points for 3 options, of which you can only choose one. Simply balance them. Simply balance them betwixt each other. Why are they framing this as a good thing? Because it is the person's job who wrote this article to frame it as a good thing. That's their job description. They're supposed to. Remember what you got for free? You're paying for it now. We're turning up the heat in tomorrow's edition, but you can't guess what that means. It's Fire Slayers. It's Fire Slayers tomorrow. Which are in like a reasonably okay spot, so it should just be tons of fun choices, probably. You know. Anyway, I hate this. Don't like it at all. A sign, truly a sign of ill omen moving forward. If you start charging for them, you better let me buy extra ones. But that would be gross too. I don't know. I don't like it. This is a bad spot to be in. Incoming plus 2-inch move heroic trait. I mean, it's probably just whichever one everyone uses, because we looked at the data and we noticed everyone uses the only one that does anything. That one now costs 30 points because everyone takes it. And so your 1980 army, sorry, get fucked. Like, okay, thanks. I don't know. I'm thinking of like only bad potential outcomes, but then again, it's like a bad potential outcome. That's a big drag. I was about to be all happy about Ironjawz, and this thing kind of ruined it for me. I am not looking forward to that. But you can be randomly spared completely, based on pure chance. If building your army in your faction happens to put you at 1950, it's fine. Everything's fine. And if happening to build your army puts you at 2K randomly, now you have to drop an entire unit for the rules that you used to get for free. You will spin the die to see if this affects you or not, probably. Who's making lists that are 80 points down anyway? Some factions like can't help it. By luck of what things happen to cost. I mean, 80 points down is a lot, but I don't know. There's a lot of armies that can't spend less than like, 150 points or 160 or sometimes 180. Also consider they may make all the bad ones cost points as a G-Doji style. You know, that is a good point, Femonk. Remember all of the fun we made of them with the manifestations? Remember the mini game we would do as we looked over all the battle tomes and we're like, okay, don't look at the points, just read the war scroll and choose the one that is on paper the strongest. And that one was never the most expensive points-wise, ever. It was always the strongest and then also like the cheapest for some reason. So maybe that'll be the same thing here. I don't know. Maybe they'll fuck up again. But I don't want to count on them failing to appropriately point things. Just don't point them. You had 1930 constantly with OBR lists. OBR was one of the armies that I was thinking of when I'm like, you just end up with a goofy ass amount of points at the end of the day. Somehow Palpatine returned. Yeah. You don't want to have to choose between a good artifact that costs points or a shit unfun one that's free. Yeah, that doesn't sound very fun to me either. Hey, all right. You agree it would be better for them to do a good job? Yeah. Speaking of a good job, Ironjawz, save me from this. Brute Fist. Once per battle round, army, any hero phase. Okay. So my turn or my opponent's turn, but not both. Mightiest Destroyers. I remember Mighty Destroyers. If there are any friendly mega bosses on the battlefield for the rest of the turn, you can pick another eligible unit to be a second target when using Mightiest Destroyers. Great. If there are no friendly mega bosses on the battlefield, roll a die. On a 3-up for the rest of the turn, you can pick another eligible unit to be a second target when using the Mighty Destroyer's ability. Okay. So if you have a Mega Boss, you get 2 Mighty Destroyers. And if you don't, you roll a die. And sometimes you can. Okay. Double Mighty. Double Destroyees. Duff up the Big Thing, which used to be a War Scroll ability, I want to say, on maybe Brutes. Pick a friendly Ironjawz unit to be the target. For the rest of the turn, add 1 to wound rolls for target's combat attacks. The target enemy unit that has a health characteristic greater than its own. Okay. It used to be +1 damage, I thought. Maybe I'm not remembering right. It might have always been +1 to wound. Anyway, it's a sub-faction that is a silver bullet. So I don't know how common of a choice it will be. It's one of those sub-factions that, depending on who you're playing against, it might do literal nothing. And often will do literal nothing. So that's not a great place to be in. It was +1 to hit on things with 4 or higher. That's what it was. And it was on Brutes. Okay. Mr. Woah, have you seen Phil Tippett's Mad God? No. I missed it in theaters, and I want to see it in a theater, and so I'm waiting. But I don't know how long I should wait, because maybe it'll never come back to it, and I should just fucking watch it. But yeah, unfortunately, I missed seeing it in theaters, and I've been kind of waiting. And maybe I should just watch it, even if it's not in the theatre. This would be great if Mighty Destroyers were fun. What does Mighty Destroyers do now? Because it has changed every 9 months for the past 10 years. What does it do now? I'm going to open it up here. But it might still be different from this version. Once per turn army, any hero phase. Pick a friendly Ironjawz unit that was not set up. Target can move 3. It can move into combat. If it was in combat at the start of the move, it must end the move in combat. Alright. the smallest move ever. But technically a move. I don't know why you can move into combat. That's weird. Alright. And so you get to do it twice. Well, you don't get to do it twice. You choose a second target. They very carefully let you choose a second target, otherwise you would choose the same target twice most of the time, I bet. Monster's traits, Biggin, +1 to rend of the companion weapons. Nice, alright. There's the Timmy one. Madden. John Madden. If this unit charge this turn, pick an enemy unit in combat with it to be the target. Roll d3, 2 up, mortal. If any are slain, after those are slain, if it's still in combat, it can immediately use this ability again. Oh, it has that thing, the old Mega Boss thing, where you could pinball. Unlimited pinball works. Yeah, overwhelming bulk. So you roll d3, 2 up. Let's pretend you kill something. Now, if you're still in combat, you can immediately use this ability again. So you do your roll, and you roll a 2 up, and you kill something. And then I'm presuming you may immediately use it again. It doesn't say a second time, it says again. And it says use this ability again, so that's the whole thing. So potentially with with John Madden, you can charge a unit of 40 skeletons. And as long as you continuously roll 2 forever, you can kill all of them in the combat phase. Which is funny. Well, no, because eventually, physically in real life, eventually they would remove enough casualties so you would no longer be in combat. Right? Now, if your opponent helped you and was only removing from the back the whole time, or maybe you charged into like a giant horseshoe of their entire unit, maybe, something like that. But that's funny. That is funny. I was about to complain about the 3-up D3 thing, but this is funny. Yeah, infinite mortals, but you fail 33% of the time. It does feel like the most Timmy thing ever. We have 2 Timmy choices. Crit Mortal Casino. And then the one that everybody else takes, the good one. Once per battle, your hero phase, fasten. If this unit was not set up this turn, it can use normal move as if it were your movement phase. Alright. So you destruction move, or sorry, you mighty destroyer move 3 inches hero phase. Then you fasten full move hero phase. Then full move movement phase. And then charge. Potentially with a bonus. So you like, you know, you're looking at One Punch Man and then you blink and he's like 1 inch from your face. It's kind of like that for the Mega Boss. Hilarious. Yeah, these are great and they're fun and they're cool. This thing is too specific to ever take. And this thing is good. So far, so good. Gore Gyuntas. 593. Choppa or Hacka. Charge +1 dam, charge +1 dam. 3 attacks a model, 4s and 3s 1, 2-ish. And then 3 4s and 2s 1, 2-ish. Barge through. When this unit moves, it can pass through models and enemy infantry units, and can pass through the combat ranges of enemy infantry units, but it cannot end the move in combat unless specified in the ability used. So that would be charge. You can do that. Hylian, you can do that. Normal move, usually not. Destruction move, technically yes. I mean Mighty Destroyers. Cav Champion, okay. Now what did he used to do? The Gorgruntas. What was the old version? I know the really old version, but what about the medium old version? Five, 9, 3, 3, 4, 3, 1. Oh, plus 1 rend instead of plus 1 damage. And no rend instead of rend. And you used to have impact hits. So instead of impact hits, your attacks are considerably better. One fewer of the Tusk attacks, though. In exchange for barge through. -2 attacks and no more impacts. It's just -1. 3 Choppas, 3 Tusks instead of 3 Choppas, 4 Tusks. So -1 attack. But your attacks are much better. Like, only anti-cavalry rend 1 versus damage 2 on the charge. Just much better. And rend 1 on the Tusks instead of none. I consider it just a damage upgrade net by a lot, even though there's 1 fewer attack. And then you have to choose between the shittiest impact hit ever or an ability that kind of matters sometimes, maybe, against infantry. Which one would I choose? Well, I like impact hits a lot, but I don't like. I feel like 200 points for a D3 just isn't it, you know. Unless it's like per model. No. Battle Tome has 4 attacks on a rider. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, like I said, I have an older version, so it must have gotten upgraded. So it is -2 attacks then. You think they're better, but they don't spark joy? I think that's a good way of putting it. I think the new Gorgruntas are better, but they don't exactly spark joy. That's a fine way to put it. And then what about the Weird Brute Rekkas? 3, 4, 5, and a 5-up ward. Chain Smoka. 6 attacks, 4s and 3s, 1/1, anti-infantry 1. And the Battle Tome might differ, but the index had them at Weird Brute Rekkas. That's the correct version? Yeah, Rekkas. Had them at 6, 4, 3, 1/1, anti-infantry 1. 6, 4, 3, 1, anti-infantry 1. Okay. If this unit is in combat, pick a friendly Ironjawz unit, hold within 12 of this unit to be the target. Add 1 to hit rolls for the target's combat attacks for the rest of the turn. +1 to hit is okay. Has to be in combat. You can target yourself, which is decent. Only would damage 1, but okay. I think they already had the ward. What am I... So, essentially, a free all-out attack. What am I getting in exchange for a free all-out attack? No more run and charge. I see. Run and charge are pretty important. Oh yeah, all out attack just got just had a huge penalty, right? -1 to save now. So there is that. So all of these random like add 1 hit roll abilities are suddenly better, relatively speaking, because AoE got worse. Proper Willy Wonky. Their save is already so bad, though, that they kind of live or die based on their ward anyway. Or just attacking first. This is a weird unit. I mean, they're called weird brutes, so yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do. I would have to play the army or at least think about how it would deploy. Like, is run and charge what you're doing? Are you playing Rekkas at all? I'm not sure. How many buffs are you absorbing? Where are you putting those buffs on? Ideally, guys that don't get killed by everything, but maybe that's just the state of affairs. I'm not sure. It feels like these weird brood Rekkas are just like, here's a completely alternative, and you could choose either of them. It's not like a strict upgrade. One of them is faster, one of them gives you a buff. Okay. Grunt is maybe slightly better. Although no impacts. But then again, all you have to do is roll a 34% chance, and the old ones didn't have impacts either. So just pretend you failed the roll, right? Yeah, essentially, I don't know how terrifically starved Ironjawz is for an extra +1 to hit. You might be. I mean, I'm looking at some of this stuff, and I'm seeing a lot of 4s everywhere, which I am used to seeing in ogres. And there just isn't enough AoEs to go around, maybe. And now you don't want another minus on top of everything else. So maybe the +1 is actually worth it. Big pigs with +1 to hit are pretty damn good, assuming they can keep up and be in combat range. What's the point cost? Kind of cheap. 110 for 3. So 220 for 6 of them. The Rekkas. 200 for 3 Gorgruntas. Is the points over here. Just ran a few numbers on the Gruntas. The new ones are just under 1 point of damage average higher than the Battle Tome ones with impact. Okay. All orcs be hitting on 4s. Yeah. That's fine. I mean, that's the... What do you call it? That's the representation of it, right? They swing wildly, but when they hit, it tends to wound, and then they do a lot of damage. I know I'm highlighting a 1 here, but you're supposed to layer buffs on them. So that's why the ogre profile actually does make a lot of sense. The one where, I know this is Ironjawz we're talking about, but the ogre profile is 4s to hit, 2s to wound. Rend 1, damage 2. And so it makes sense. They like Babe Ruth swing wildly, but when they hit, they basically auto wound and they kill 2 people with 1 blow, that kind of thing. And mathematically, hit on 4, wound on 2s is pretty close to 3s and 3s, although it's not quite. You'd think it would be, but somehow it's not. I'm not good at math, but... Anyway, good shit. What do we say? Mightiest Destroyers, it's good but kind of boring. Duff up the big thing, too specific. Big Un, Timmy fun. Mad Un, Timmy fun. Fast Un, fun for the whole family. Gorgruntas, slight upgrade, but I'm not like super excited about it. And Weird Brood Rekkas, I don't know what to think about it, but it seems like you want as many buffs as you can get in this army, and so here's another one. Overall, I give it a C+, maybe. I'll give it a C. But then grading on a curve, I'll get it a B-. Good job. Didn't exactly bring back smashing and bashing or anything like that. But monstrous traits are all fun and cool. And I'll take +1 to hit this edition, I guess. Maybe C+, B- on a curve. I don't know. These are kind of close together, maybe. Anyway, good shit. What are we doing tomorrow? What's tomorrow again? 5 out of 7 orc massages. Fire Slayers, that's right. Because Ironjawz is somewhat of a manly army. And Fire Slayers is also a manly army, so we're doubling up. Double man army. And the General's Handbook costing points for enhancements, lores, battle formations, F-. F-, maybe double-, red pen at the top, see me after class. We're having a parent-teacher conference. You have to move to a new school district. So, hey, all right. Not bad. What army isn't manly? Tzeentch. Anything that shoots bows for any reason. Yeah, right off the top of my head. Daughters of Cain is actually quite manly, despite having bows. Daughters of Cain is considerably more manly of an army than Tzeentch, for sure. That's just physics. That's science. Bows are very manly. In real life, sure. In fantasy, absolutely not. What a lame weapon. Holy. And then the monstrous traits now cost 30 points, so you don't take them? Yeah, yeesh. The Tzeentch Primarch has higher base damage than the Khorne Primarch and 40k now. Hey, I don't profess to try to fix 40k problems. I'm over here in AOS land. Grown as Zangor, casting spells, casting illusions to look like he has a six-pack. Brother, enter the gym. Summon yourself some dumbbells over there. What do you have those wings for? Do some flies, my man. Do some lat pulls. Pick up a sword already. Hey, all right. I'm going to start loading up the We Are French Now game as we continue to talk about AOS, probably, whilst I'm grinding. BRB RB.